It was supposed to be Triumph's crown jewel, a V8 designed to rewrite the future of British motoring. The Triumph Stag wasn't just a car, it was a bold statement. But what began as a symbol of ambition turned into one of the most infamous engineering disasters in automotive history. Nicknamed the Meltdown Machine, this engine didn't just fail, it helped take an entire brand down with it. So how did Triumph's dream car become its ultimate nightmare? Let's uncover the shocking truth behind the Stag V8. Well, at the time, Triumph was owned by British Leyland. British Leyland was a vast corporation consisting of many British car manufacturers. There was obviously politics within the corporation, which pushed Triumph to fight harder to build its own identity. The Triumph was looking to build something so elite that it would take away the market by storm. What did they come up with? The Stag V8. The Stag V8 was going to be Triumph's entrance into the luxury segment. Triumph was aiming to compete with the big names like Mercedes-Benz, and to match the standards of such companies, Triumph was ready to go all out. The Stag was going to be a luxury GT convertible to rival the likes of the SL series by Mercedes-Benz. To power such an important vehicle, they were not going to outsource the engine. Specifically for this car, Triumph designed a brand new engine in-house. Triumph had a very close relationship with the Italian designer Giovanni Michelotti. Michelotti had designed several cars for Triumph in the past. Stag also began as a concept by Michelotti, based on the chassis of the Triumph 2000 Saloon. The director at the time, Harry Webster, loved the idea and championed it as something that could change how people view the company. So began Triumph's journey to enter the luxury market. The political reason for Triumph to craft its own engine was the rivalry with Rover. At the time, Rover already had a powerful engine that would have been perfect for the Stag, the 3.5-liter Buick-derived aluminum V8. This engine was solid and powerful, and it was already being manufactured, so it seemed just right for Triumph to power the beast in making with these. However, they chose not to. Well, Triumph and Rover both wanted to have a distinct identity. Rover didn't really want to share their star engine with Triumph, and Triumph was proud of its engineering. The brand was working on a modular engine strategy based on its Slant 4 engine, which was a collaborative project by Triumph and Saab. This engine wasn't just a powerhouse for their new car, the engine was a statement. The Stag V8 engine demonstrated to the world that Triumph was not just a sports manufacturing brand, but a company that took engineering very seriously. The Machine Meltdown was going to be a distinctive luxury GT with its own unique engine, rather than a car built by simply assembling parts. The engine was an incredible attempt to create a modern and sophisticated powerhouse that could meet the expectations that people would have with a convertible GT. The engine utilized a cast iron block, a traditional choice for the time, which was also sturdy and reliable. The block was relatively compact and low in height. This was inspired by the Slant 4 architecture, as that was where the concept originated. The Juggernaut was a 90-degree V8. The 90-degree configuration was perfect for the balance and firing of the V8. The design of this engine was not typical. The brand had taken innovation seriously, and the engine's design was a testament to that. To put it simply, Triumph took two Slant 4 engines and put them together, facing each other at a 90-degree angle to create a V-block. The two parts were connected by a single crankshaft, making it a whole. The camshaft, cylinder head, and intake and exhaust manifolds were separate for each. This was the architecture of Triumph. The reasons behind their approach made sense. The Slant 4s were already present, saving the brand the cost and time it would have needed had it gone with developing a new engine from scratch. Triumph had another reason too. The brand was aiming to build an engine family that would share its components. The cylinder heads in the engine were made out of aluminum alloy. This reduced the weight and improved heat conduction, which was intended to give the Stag a faster warm-up and better combustion. It was also supposed to avoid knocking and increase power. The engine featured a SOHC design, and the SOHC valve train was not commonly used at the time, as most vehicles employed a pushrod valve train. The SOHC was providing more accurate valve timing, better breathing, and smoother operation at higher RPMs. This increased engine responsiveness and combustion efficiency, and also gave the car a smooth, powerful feel while minimizing noise, which is essential for a luxury vehicle. The over-square design for bore and stroke was ideal for this monster, as it allowed the engine to rev more smoothly and provided excellent throttle response. The design meant a shorter stroke for the pistons each time, which reduced friction at high RPMs, reducing wear and extending the life of the engine. The room for larger valves in the cylinder head improved airflow and made combustion more efficient. The firing order and twin downpipe exhaust system of this cult classic weren't something that people could forget. It gave the car a distinctive exhaust note, which is still argued to be the most characterful in the vast variety of British cars. It also gave the drivers an emotional appeal, which helped them build a connection with the beast. The monster, regardless of being a luxury car, was revving at a promising max of 5,500 RPM. The Stag could accelerate from 0 to 60 in 9 seconds and had a top speed of 120 miles per hour. The Triumph was by no means joking around. But as all things do, the Triumph Stag V8 had its flaws. And while some flaws can be ignored, some you just can't. The Stag was brilliant in theory, and it did have some incredible strengths. In execution, however, the Stag had issues. These problems were mechanical, ranging from design to production, and so on, you name it. The Stag had a chronic overheating issue. The cast iron block and the aluminum heads both expanded at different rates, which distorted the head gasket whenever there was an overheating incident, which was again very common with this vehicle. The water pump was buried deep inside the V of the engine. This meant that every time there was an issue with the water pump, it would be a lengthy process of repair. The cooling passage on these juggernauts was a different story. The cooling passage was designed poorly, resulting in uneven heat distribution and localized overheating. These issues related to overheating could cause the engine to seize if not addressed in time. And this was not something people wanted to deal with in a luxury vehicle. The timing chain system was also quite weak in the Stag. The root of the problem was the fact that the chain had to drive both camshafts and the water pump. This was a complex route. The tensioners were wearing out quickly, especially if the oil changes were not paid proper attention. These issues would then go on to cause bigger problems, such as valve timing issues or even a disastrous chain failure. Loss of power or backfiring was another serious issue caused by poor cam timing. The oil passages on these engines were another problem that led to this vehicle becoming a total mess. The galleries were too narrow and got easily clogged. The lack of filtration around the timing chain area led to starvation in the camshafts or the pump. The problems with oil circulation led to quicker wear and tear within the engine. The numerous problems present in the Stag might have come as a shock to some, but others were not as surprised. Well, the engineers at Triumph had figured it out before the cars even hit the market, and they did warn the company that the GT was not ready. British Leyland did not wish to prolong the process and insisted that the cars be launched. The result? The Stag was developed as quickly as possible and was pushed into production. The engines were not even consistent in quality due to the overworked labor. The Stag, the car intended to compete with the Mercedes-Benz SL series, had owners complaining about total engine failure before even reaching 50,000 miles. There was no doubt left. The car was nothing it was promised to be. The resale value of the Stag took a serious hit, and international markets completely abandoned the car as soon as reports of engine failures started circulating. The vehicle, which was supposed to put Triumph at the top of the game, not only failed to do the job it was supposed to do, but it also went on to further worsen the situation for Triumph as a brand. Triumph's reliability and customer loyalty never fully recovered from the damage caused by the Stag. By the mid-1970s, British Leyland was on the brink of collapse, and the company's financial situation was so dire that the UK government had to intervene to help it stay afloat. The state of the company wasn't looking very good, and they knew that they would have to make some changes to stay alive. The Stag was already facing backlash from the market. Its sales were not very promising either, and the costly production of these vehicles made it the perfect sacrifice for British Leyland. The company pulled the plug on the meltdown machine, killing it once and for all. The Stag became a lesson for the entire automobile industry. It was now known that modular engine strategies need real-world reliability. The risks of burying critical parts, the consequences of engine cooling imbalances, and the awful results of letting internal company politics supersede engineered judgment were now common knowledge. The car may have been a disaster, but it taught the industry things it needed to learn. However, that is not where the Stag's story ends. The meltdown machine still has a cult following. Proud owners of the beast have upgraded and modified their Stags to perfection. And the car, which was once declared a failure, is now celebrated and loved by many. It's a classic case of redemption. The meltdown machines bent the laws of the automobile industry and found out the consequences. And the story of this insane car is not like any other. For more stories like these, subscribe to our channel. Let us know your thoughts on these beasts in the comments below. See you soon!